Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Welcome to Tuesday Night Knit Chat.
At the
My name is Noelle
in the KnitChat
in the
Cafe,
KnitChat Café, which is located in southwestern Ontario,
our favorite knitterhood.
but we deliver globally.
Yes.
So, yeah, so welcome, everybody. We are Noelle and Kelly, and we are Knits and Pieces podcast. So, Tuesday evenings is our informal knit together chat, get together in the cafe, talk about what we've been doing all week, working on, anything new that we've learned, things that might have come into our lives, mail. So we're glad you're all here. I see there was a lot of people here already, so we'll just go through, say hi, a quick hello to everybody. First of all, hi, Kelly. Okay, so we have Cornelia, we've got Kristen, we've got Elaine, we've got Pat and Kathy and Kimmy and Sue. We've got Janet, Donna, Lillian, Nicole, Judith, Julia, Glenda, Rebecca. Mary's waving. Hi, Mary. We've got Kathy, Karen, Beth, Rebecca, Sheila, Jackie, Margaret, Pauline, Teresa, Bobby, Rose, Jan, Gwen, Kim, Pauline. Okay, Elaine, Connie. We've got a couple of Elaines. Beth, Kimberly. Lots of people in here. So anyway, hello to everybody. It's getting kind of hard to go through all these because you guys type in so fast and get commenting before we even get here. But welcome, everybody. Everybody is welcome here. And yeah, on this, actually today wasn't too bad of a day here. A little bit not as chilly as yesterday, but good for the woolies.
Thanks to Carol for pointing out that I was trying to be you and you were trying to be me on the screen. I had the wrong.
Oh, we never know. We never look at those things. Come on, Kelly.
Sometimes I forget to put them on there. So
it wouldn't be us if we were technically perfect.
That's right. Shift happens.
That's right.
It does.
That's right. So yeah. So I know last week we had a pretty cold week last week, probably about the coldest that we've had, I would say, for this winter.
It was pretty cold. Yes. Pretty cold.
So nice to be able to get out the chunkier woolies and wear them. So,
yes.
Because I think
that's the nice thing about going to a virtual meeting, though. You don't have to dress any warmer. You aren't going to be cold. You won't have to scrape the car windows off.
No, you don't have to worry if your sweater's too thick to fit under your coat.
That's right. Yeah, all the good things. All the good
things.
So
this is actually, I'll talk a little bit about this. This is the first time I've had this sweater on all winter.
Is it really?
Yeah, because I'm hot in the house, but today I have the fireplace turned off, and so it's a little bit cooler. But this is the Sunday cardigan by Petite Knits. So even though it's Tuesday, this is the Sunday cardigan. It's I don't know if you can see there. It's done in what did I do it in? Cascade Eco Plus. So that was their charcoal colorway. But then I held it with a strand of mohair that I got out in Bedeck, Nova Scotia.
So
and
pretty.
It's the Fleece Artist Zambezi, and Fleece Artist does custom colorways for some places. So they did custom colorways for this little yarn store in Bedeck. It was called Bedeck, was the name of the yarn store. So this was called Pink Ice, and the Pink Ice mohair was kind of like what the sun looks like when it shines off the lake there. So I thought that was a nice little souvenir, and it's a really nice, cozy, comfy. Yeah, like a weekend cardi that you just throw on over whatever. So, yeah, so I really like it. Oh, yeah, virtual knit cafe where you know where the bathroom is and you're not afraid to use it.
And they always know your name.
In the bathroom.
Yeah. Amanda says that identity theft is not cool, Kelly. Oh, goodness. Beth has a case of snow envy because it's 35 degrees Celsius where she is.
And you said that Beth could have her snow.
Yes.
Well, was it yesterday morning? I was talking to my daughter-in-law, Rachel, for a few minutes, and she just lives in Brights Grove, which is 10 minutes from here.
Mm-hmm.
And they had snow the night before where they had a snowplow out clearing the snow, and we're 10 minutes away and we didn't have any. So that's how
Crazy.
kind of hit and miss it can be when there's snow. So
Yep.
anyway, so Beth's in Australia, right? Where she's got the 35C.
It's their summer now, right?
Yes.
So
Yep.
yes.
So what are you working on, Kelly?
The hat that never ends, the Musselburgh. Although yours ended, and
Well, but
now
my
you're on
next
to a
one
second
hasn't.
one.
Yeah.
Okay, but I also only work on this during KnitChat. So
Yeah. Oh, it's striping up really nice.
yeah, I really like it. And I have
Yep.
let me see. Can you see this? My little stitch marker from Anne.
Oh, the little sheep. Yeah, it's cute.
The little sheep. It's cute. It's a little knitting sheep. So that's Anne Tudor. She's I always want to say blown glass. It's not glass rod. And she makes these amazing little stitch holders. And they're so cute. They just, it makes me smile every time I get around the round. And then I get to look at it again. So
I know I should put one on mine because I have a couple of little sheep. And then I have
I have the llama.
And
we have the holly berries.
We have the holly berries. And I have a little gingerbread man. And I think I have a little Christmas
tree gnomes too, don't you? Do you have
I don't have gnomes. I think that might have been Lisa that had the gnomes, but
okay. Eva said that her car froze shut yesterday. That happened last week actually. And yeah, so out there tugging and tugging. But anyway.
Okay. So I've have you been doing a lot of other knitting this week? I think you have been.
Well, I was. So a week ago weekend, I cast on the Ranunculus because I thought I was the only person that hadn't made one. Turns out I'm not. There's lots of people that haven't made a Ranunculus. Quite a few people though have made more than one, so they have Ranunculi, but I have almost a Ranunculus. I'm on to the bottom ribbing and get it the right way.
That is gorgeous.
I couldn't love it more. I don't know why I waited so long.
That color. Yeah, but you waited for the perfect yarn and mohair, or not mohair because it's alpaca, right?
Yes. So I'm using Coast and I'm using 2 strands of Coast. And then I hold 1 strand of Titicaca. And the blue Coast is in the colorway River. And the Titicaca is in Stonewashed. And well, first it's really, really light. And second, it is beyond squishy.
I know Kelly was over on the weekend and I felt it. And I wanted to go cast on something with that yarn combination immediately.
I know. I will definitely make another sweater in this combination. And it knits like a dream. And like the stitch definition is really good too.
Yes.
So
it's actually you can see it almost more than a lot of the ones are done with mohair.
I think so.
Right. Because the alpaca,
like you can see how it's lofty. It's pretty lofty.
Yes. Yeah. But it's not, it's like you get a little bit of halo, but not quite the really fluffy that you get from a mohair. Yeah. So but you can actually really see it.
It is so soft that this could go against my skin. This will not irritate me any way, shape, or form. And I was thinking that I would have to wear something under it all the time just because, the lace work is pretty open. But then when I tried it on the other day, where the lace work hits, it's kind of, it's all up there. Yeah. So maybe I can just get away with wearing it. But I'm really, really happy with it.
Yep. That color is gorgeous.
So it should be done soon. And
so what are you going to do for the sleeves?
I think I'm going to do a 3/4 sleeve.
And then are you going to do
is it there an I-cord? Yeah. An I-cord bind off.
Yeah.
Well, because I always wear a watch. And so for me, if I can get something that kind of just sits right about there, like that's comfort level. It never gets in my way when I'm in the kitchen cooking or anything. So, and then sometimes when you have long sleeves, and the Apple watches are kind of bulky too, right? So it's a struggle to get something that sort of fits over top.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So Becky's asking what the yarn is. It's Holst yarn, and the Coast I bought a big cone of, and then the Titicaca comes in these, and I only just started. This is the second one, and I've only just started it, and I'm all the way down to the bottom ribbing. So
yeah, so you won't
it's probably going to be
two.
like 1.5
half
of
yep.
the Titicaca, and like I still have oodles on the cone. And these are 500 grams.
Oftentimes, if you weigh them, they're actually a lot of times when you buy it on the cone, it's actually a lot of times more than.
Well, that one was was more, because before I cast anything on, that cone weighed 580 grams.
Yeah, so, and I think the actual cardboard cone in the middle weighs about maybe 40, 45.
Yeah, so I guess I did end up with about an extra 40 grams. So
yeah, but that's a lot when you consider the yardage, because Coast has got a lot. I can't even remember. It's like 350 or something.
Yeah, and did I put the ball band in here? I was trying to find what I don't think it's in here. I was trying to find the ball band for the Titicaca, just find the yardage for that. Do you remember that one?
It's over 400 for sure.
Yeah, it's a lot. There's no weight to it. That's a 50-gram skein. Yep. That over 400. So that's
and that's like the Coast has like I think it's close to 350 in a 50-gram cake. So even with it doubled and the Titicaca, you've still got a really light sweater.
Yeah. So that's what I was working on for most of the week. And then all right, I'm just going to get this part over with. So I have to do it. I'm just going to say it. So knitting kind of came to a halt. We lost our longtime cat, Molly, this morning. 2 years ago, she was diagnosed with kidney disease, and she's been doing really, really well for a couple of years. But this weekend, we noticed that she was quite lethargic, like sleeping more than her 23 normal hours a day that she would sleep, and struggling a little bit to get out of bed, and didn't want to eat or drink. So when I came home yesterday, she was not in good shape. So we just spent the night keeping her comfortable, and the situation got worse this morning. So Molly has crossed Rainbow Bridge, and it was way up there with the worst things I ever have to do.
Yep.
So I wasn't going to do this tonight. I actually called Noelle by, I think, 4:30, and I said, I'm a mess and my eyes feel like sandpaper, and I don't think I can do it. So I said, you can do this yourself. And she said she could. And then she called me back a little bit later, and my husband got onto my case and said, get on there and you'll feel better. And you know what? Like, I am feeling better. I'm sad. Like, the sad is not going to go away, but when you're sad, you should surround yourself with good friends. So that's exactly what I'm doing. And I can see all of your comments. So thank you.
Nobody that hasn't gone through that can understand what it feels like, because it's devastating.
And it was so strange too, because even up until this morning, like, I didn't shed a tear last night. I just, we stayed with her all night. Actually, I slept on the floor in the living room, and Mike slept on the couch. And so Molly and I were curled up in front of the fireplace sleeping last night. Well, not sleeping very much. She was really restless and uncomfortable, but I'm going to say I'm pretty sore today. I don't know how, as kids, we thought that was fun to do, to sleep on the floor, because it was not a good night for me. So my heart is sore, my body is sore, and anyway, it's she's not suffering anymore.
That's right,
and that's what I have to move forward with. So I'm on here. There, I've said it. I got through it, and let's move on. Okay.
So, anyway, okay. So
that's your cue to talk.
My cue to talk. Okay, so I have been doing some knitting this week. I had posted a picture. I finished my sweater by Beth McDonald Stone, and I'll just quickly. I'll go into a lot more detail. We're going to probably podcast later this week, so we'll go into more detail about it when we do that, but I'll just hold it up and show you. So it's all finished.
Beautiful.
Thanks. And it's like, I mean, I really do love these sleeves, but I get what you're saying. When you've got a sleeve like this and you've got a watch on under it, then you put the sleeve on and it kind of stretches a bit, but I'll just make sure I don't wear a watch when I wear it. But I absolutely love it. The details that Beth's got in the pattern are amazing. Like these cuffs and the little flared out ruffly hem on them. And then the bottom band, I just love it. So amazing sweater if you want to
I also
it.
got a chance to see that sweater in person on the weekend, and people, it weighs nothing. It's
no, I know. It's like I think there's a little over 200 grams of the super soft. So this again is the Holst. Okay, so this is the super soft, which is 100% wool, which is not quite as soft as the Coast. Like yours is a lot softer, but yeah, weighs like next to nothing. So, and the difference when you block it though is amazing. And I think you'll even find that, Kelly, when you block out the sweater with the Coast. So
yeah, I'm expecting that it will bloom even more.
Yep.
So
well, even now when you hold it up, like it's not like you can't really see through it.
No, not at all. So I think yeah, I'm definitely going to make another sweater in the future in that same combination too. I know I will.
Yep.
So some
have
things
you been
that
knitting
came
any? Oh,
pardon
no,
me.
you've got stuff in the mail.
That's what I was going to say. Some things came in the mail. And this is good for me and good for some of you, or at least a couple of you. So Noelle had shown, had you? Yes, you had shown.
I showed it last week. Yeah.
The gathering yarn that I decided I had to have as well. So I ordered some and it showed up this week. And so I thought that this will make a nice package to give away for our warm woolly. No, warm winter woolies.
Winter woolies.
It's been a day. Warm winter woolies make along. And because it is such plump yarn, this will be perfect for color work. So I got, and they don't all have colors. So apologies for that. But this is the gathering yarn. And this is from Brook Farm. Oh, actually, this one does. This is the beige mix. And then I got to go with that dark brown and rusty. Look at that.
That's
now,
gorgeous.
This is going to be subtle color work. I know, I realize that, but a little piece of fabric stuck in there. You don't need that. There we go. So that's going to be into our prize bin. And then I got a second color combination, which is the light gray and mulberry and charcoal. Look at this. Gorgeous. How pretty is that? This yarn is so unbelievably soft. Now it feels very much like some yarn that I bought in New York called Elemental Effects, and I made fingerless mittens with it.
Yeah, the hedgerow.
They are my hedgerow mittens by Mary Ann Stevens. They are my favorite, all-time favorite, because the yarn is just amazing. And this feels so much like this. This is super affordable at $22.50 for 100 gram skein. So yeah, so I'm super pumped about this. I got one colorway for myself, which I don't have on this table, but this one's also going to go into the prize bin. So
what was are they the little cakes? Are they 25 grams or are they 20 grams?
25.
Okay. So those are $5.95.
$5.95 for these and $22.50 for a full one. And even like you could do a sweater in this, and 25 grams is plenty for a lot of the colorwork sweaters that are out there that are popular. And I think they had maybe 10 or 12 colors in the small ones, and something beautiful to coordinate to all of the main. So the yarn that this is too, it's 100% British wool, and it's milled in the UK, but it's so soft and plump and toothy yarn. So when you're doing color work, this will be amazing for color work.
I went on the site, and it is all British, but the actual makeup is it's 70% Blueface Leicester and 30% Massam.
Okay.
So, and we've got comments here on where do we get it. We got ours from
Beehive Yarns in Victoria,
Victoria,
BC.
right? Yeah. So
And
and they do have a website, and you can order online. It's Canadian. I was just going back a bit too. Someone had asked if there's anywhere that you can get the Holst in Canada.
absolutely, yes.
Yeah, you can get. There's lots of places that you can get it, but Little Red Mitten does have the Holst Super Soft.
Mm-hmm.
So they have the Super Soft, and they do have the cones, because a lot of places might have it, but they might not have the cones. But Little Red Mitten does have the Holst Super Soft in the cones, but right at the moment they don't have Coast in the cones.
Okay.
But I believe that some of when you went to Wet Coast Wools,
Mm-hmm.
I believe they have the Coast, the Super Soft. They might even have the Tides.
Yes.
At least in the cakes. I don't know if they have it in the cones.
Yeah.
But
so
if you
you're
just
in the
type
West
in,
Coast, yeah.
Yeah. And I don't even know, you might be able to go into the whole site and actually see who their retailers are.
I'm not certain about that. I'm not certain about that. So somebody was asking what weight this is. It is indeed a fingering weight, and there are 420 meters in 100 grams. So good mileage too.
Well, it is, and it doesn't. That's a fair bit of yardage for 100-gram skein, but it does not feel like super thin or anything.
No, not at all.
So,
okay.
So that's, and Kelly had picked up some. I got some of the little cakes because I thought I want to see some of them before I decide whether I want a sweater quantity in that color. Mm-hmm. And I know they'll make really good like fingerless mitts, or you're right, like 25 grams. If you've got a color work sweater that has a couple of colors in the yoke, like 25 grams of each is lots for that.
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
So, okay. So, last week we were talking about socks. Have you worked anything on socks?
No.
Me either. No. I finished one pair of socks so far this year. Like that for me is like what's going on. Even you usually have more socks done.
I know. I don't know. We've lost our sock mojo.
We have lost our sock
mojo. We
have
a pretty good idea where it went. We're going to blame Miss Julia for stealing it.
That's right.
I don't know. Is Julia in here tonight?
She is.
Okay. So we're going to blame Miss Julia, because Miss Julia was a hard and fast, I'm not a sock knitter person. And we somehow pushed and prodded enough that she made a pair of socks, and now she's made 4, like in rapid succession. So we think our sock mojo went to Julia.
Yeah, that Julia said found it. So I just typed up here. Someone had asked what the brand of the yarn was. So it's Brooks Farm.
It's Brooks Farm, but it's also
Gathering Yarn.
Gathering Yarn. Yes.
So anyways, Kelly and I want you guys to help us get our sock mojo back. I mean, we run a sock cal. You think we'd be able to get it back?
Yeah, those 2022 pairs of socks aren't going to knit themselves, Noelle.
Luckily, we don't count. But anyways, so I just want to show you this skein of yarn here. But yes, we want you guys to help get our sock mojo back. So we are going to give away this skein of yarn this set of yarn. This is Rose Hill Yarns. I don't know if you can see those colors. Can you see the speckles in the...
Well, maybe if you put it in front of the camera.
I'm trying.
It's that little round disc on the back of your phone. There you go.
There. Okay. Anyways, this is called Birthday Sprinkles. And it's I have done a pair in this, the only pair that I've done in 2022 so far. But it had a fuchsia mini. So this has got kind of like the green mini. So we're going to give this away. But what we want you to do, because we're going to do it right now.
I love that green, by the way. I love that green.
I know. And it is really pretty, and it knit up really pretty. But I mean, I'll be lucky if I get my 12 pairs of socks done this year. I'm thinking from the ones that I've already picked for family socks. So anyways, we want to try and get our sock mojo back. So what we want everybody to do right now, we need you to type in.
I know, Noelle, spin the wheel. Spin the wheel.
I am. We want you to type in hashtag sock mojo.
exactly the way it is on the screen.
Exactly the way it is on the screen. And this skein of yarn is what we're giving away. Well, this set of yarn. So anyway, so we'll give that a couple of minutes.
Yep. And you can keep talking. Oh, something else that we can go back to last week. Well, now I hope everybody can see it, but we were talking about the book. The book came in. I haven't had a chance to open it yet. Like I said, I've been a little tied up, but I skimmed through, I read a few excerpts, and I know I'm going to love this book. I know I am. It's very cleverly written. So I completely botched it last week, but it is indeed by Sylvia Olson. It's called Unraveling Canada, a Knitting Odyssey. And I'll zoom in here so you can see the book. I know it's on a small screen now, but I'm really excited to read this book. And I'm going to tag some of the places that they went in Canada so that when we can get out traveling again, and she even has it broken down by provinces where they went. I'm really excited to read this book.
Yeah, sounds good. So, and we were talking last week too. That's one thing I wanted to say too. We were talking last week about audiobooks versus actually reading, about getting things from the library and your Kobo. Well, so I had never listened to an audiobook before, but I thought, okay, I'm just going to go because there's lots of books that are available through our library for the audiobooks.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got a Kristen Hanna one, The Four Winds. Have you read that one?
Yes.
It's pretty sad so far, but anyways.
How much suffering can one person go through?
I know. But anyway, it's perfect. It's actually perfect to listen to while I'm spinning, right? Because I put my headphones in and then I spin. And I mean, it's not like I have an electric wheel. It doesn't make that much noise, but I'm just like doing this. So I can totally concentrate and listen to the book. Mm-hmm. And it's an awesome way to get more reading in. So I don't know. I didn't think I'd like it, but I think if you're in the mind frame where you're not really doing anything else, then it's easy to focus on listening to the book. Mm-hmm. So so that was, I'm glad we talked about that, and I'm glad I tried it, because even sometimes, on Sunday night, Ross was watching the Super Bowl, and I didn't really want to watch the Super Bowl, but I wanted to spend some time with him. So I just plugged the headphones in while the Super Bowl was on and knit and listened to the book. So
that's right. Multitasking. Look at you, watching the Super Bowl, spinning, and reading a book all at the same time.
I still couldn't tell you who won the Super Bowl.
All I know, Tom Brady was not there. That's what I know.
No. Yeah. Anyways, I did think that the book is good, and it's I had to go and I had to do some research on the Dust Bowl and find out more about what happened. And it's just, I'd heard of it, but didn't really know what it meant or what the people went through or.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Trust me, we do not know hard times.
No, we don't.
No, compared to some of the things that they went through. So sad. And the sacrifices that they would make, to keep going on. So, the one bright and shiny spot in my day today was this morning. I found out that I was the winner of the prize from Muskoka Yarns, and I won a beautiful skein of yarn, a knitter's bracelet, and a hat pattern. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, so I'll make sure to show that once it arrives in the mail. But so we've still got some entries coming in. Let it go.
Maybe wait another minute. But so when I go to draw this, Kelly, can I do it right on this screen, or do I have to go to the original?
You have to click on the original.
Okay. And then is that going to mean you're going to have to go out and come back in?
No, it shouldn't. It worked before. Okay. No, it shouldn't.
Okay. It shouldn't. Okay. I never know.
Because you're just sharing your screen. So as soon as you click on that screen, it will see what's happening on the screen that we're on. So.
Okay. So I have to go click on the other tab.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to do that now.
Okay.
Are we ready?
Yes. Okay. How many entries do you see? I see 143.
It's
or is your screen different than mine? Okay.
No, I just can't see it. It's too small.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay.
Spinning, 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 slowing down. This is the exciting part.
I know.
Where will it stop? Nobody knows. Debbie Button.
Debbie Button. Yay, Debbie.
Congratulations, Debbie.
Congratulations. So you are going to win this. So this is Rose Hill yarns. It is a sock set that has 50 grams of the main, and there is 20 grams of the contrast color, and there's enough to make an adult pair of socks in there. Both Kelly and I have knit from them. Beautiful yarn to knit with, and lots of yarn to make an adult pair of socks. So yes. Congratulations, Debbie.
Yes. So just have to let us know after the show. You can send us are you pulling up the email address?
Yeah, I'm looking for it.
Okay.
There we go. So you can email us at knitsandpiecespodcast@gmail.com and let us know your mailing address, and we will get that in the mail to you. It'll be flattened down.
Yes. I vacuum seal everything before I ship it.
Yep. Yeah. And then show us what you make with it so we can get our mojo back.
Yes. Yes. Help us out. Help a
knitter
knitter out.
When I look at some of these, I do really want to do socks again, but I've just gotten in. Well, so have you. We've just gotten in sweater mode that we want to knit sweaters.
I'm actually going to cast on a third sweater because here's my theory behind the multi-sweater cast on. I know what I want it to do, like for the season of winter, and I'm not making great strides in getting it done. So my theory is if I just cast them all on, I will eventually knit them up, and then I can just pick them up and work on them. But I have to admit too, that Ranunculus, that kind of flew along, and I was pretty happy to have that on the needles. So I'll be equally happy to have it on me and not on the needles, but
that's right.
Yeah.
Debbie says she's got 2 pairs of socks on the go right at the moment. Well, now she can have 3.
3. That's right. And then just add them into the sock cal, the year-long sock cal, and that'll be one pair closer to 2022 pairs.
That's right.
Somebody was asking what I use to vacuum seal. It's just a little, I don't even know the make of it. It's a little machine. I buy the rolls of the sealer bags, and then I just cut them to the size that I need, and it's like a food vacuum sealer. Nothing too fancy. Yeah.
Darcy says she's actually knitting her very first pair of socks right now. That is awesome. We love to see people knitting socks, and I mean, we will get back to it, but I think just right at the moment, the Ranunculus has taken over my sock. Not the Ranunculus, the Musselburgh has taken over my sock knitting because it's so easy to take somewhere when I have to wait or I have time to knit. And
well, it must have really excited you because you're on to your second one. So
yes. Okay, but since last week, so I showed you I finished my Chalice Vine, and that pattern is going to be coming out sometime in March. And then I finished the hem on this one.
That one's so pretty.
So this is my solo sweater by Lena Holmes Samsoy. Anyway, and it's done in another, I think this is like the whole podcast. This is done in whole scarn ties in the sea lavender colorway. That's
no. What is tides? What's the makeup of tides?
Tides is 70% wool, 30% silk.
Okay, and in thickness, where is it compared to super soft?
It's exactly the same yardage as super soft.
Okay.
So I'm holding it with a strand of mohair, and this is the Drops silk mohair, and this color I believe is light lavender. So the two of them together, they're not quite the same color, but they make a really nice kind of marled effect. So I've just got one sleeve left to do on that one, and again, it's got a sleeve a little bit similar. I seem to be into these like more puffy sleeves lately. Plus they're so easy because you're not decreasing. So you can just keep on knitting all the way down and not think about doing any decreases. So that's kind of nice. So that one's on the go.
Valerie and then I just started a sweater using the super soft as well. And she says she's blaming the two of us. Well, it's okay.
I'll take that blame.
We'll take it. We'll take it. We've got broad shoulders, Val.
Yep. So
we don't mind.
So, and then the next sweater that I'm doing, I said last week that I was doing a sweater for my daughter-in-law for her birthday. So I'll just stick a picture up here of the one I'm doing because mine doesn't look like this yet. So this is the Alias by Isabel Kramer.
Isabel Kramer.
Yep. So I am doing it in Barocco Vintage DK.
Which is really similar in color to the sweater I'm working on.
It is actually, yeah.
Yeah.
So
really
you can't really see yet, but you can see that if I can hold it up, like there's a really nice kind of faux cable detail in it. I'm going to try and hold this up to my phone. There.
I like
Can
that.
you see it?
It's subtle, but it's really pretty. Yes.
Yeah. So that goes down each side, and it's also down the side bands. And then I wasn't going to put the pockets in, but I think I am just because I'm kind of bored. So I need something to add some more interest, but it's going to be a really nice sweater. And this is the Barocco Vintage DK. And the sweater actually calls for an 18 stitch gauge, but I like this better at a 20 stitch gauge. So I just did the math and I'm doing a bigger size than what I would if I was using something where I like the fabric at an 18 stitch gauge. But I find sometimes I do like worsted sweaters, but sometimes they're pretty heavy to wear.
They
you don't
are
get
heavy.
as much wear out of them.
DK is my favorite weight. It goes a little quicker and it's always comfortable to wear.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at some comments here. Laura says that her sock mojo was MIA for 3 years. Thanks to you, it's back. She has knit 5 pairs since January and she has 4 pairs on the needle right now. So Laura is single-handedly carrying us into 2022. Yeah. And Amy says that you have inspired her. She's back on Estonian socks to do the Rismond. So she had done the amber wing socks, and thanks for the inspiration. Yay.
Good. Thank you. We love to give inspiration and and you guys give inspiration back to us because now I'm like, I should go finish those.
I know, right? I know.
Because they are really beautiful.
I have 2 pairs of socks on the go. And I need to finish them. But
and your beaded ones are gorgeous.
They're gorgeous. And I'm okay. I have a heel and a foot left to do. They're so close to being done. I don't know what my holdup is, but I'm going to get back to it. I will.
There's just so many things to knit and so many things that I want to do that there's just
so little time.
And I'm retired and I don't have enough time. So
I mean, and sometimes I feel guilty if I put too many hours. So generally for me, for my knitting time is my hour a week here. And then if I'm in the car, not driving the car, I will knit. And then I generally don't sit down at night until about 10:30. And then, so I will knit like 10:30 to 11:30ish midnight. And then I try to go to bed at midnight. So that's kind of a timeline for me. So it's not a lot of time to knit. Yeah. But on the weekend, I actually took Sunday off and did precious little, did a couple loads of laundry, made a meal, precious little else, kind of glued myself to the sofa for the day. And that's how I got so much done on the Ranunculus.
Well, even
but that's not, I don't normally knit like marathon like that. That's not usually me.
Like you and Mike came over Saturday night and we didn't even knit.
I know. Well, okay, if it had been you and I, we would have knit. But if we're in a group setting, I feel like, well, we should be talking instead.
But come on. But we can talk and knit.
Absolutely, we can. But I just thought, well, then what do they have to do? They just have to sit there and watch us knit. So
no, they could talk too. We'd let them.
We let them. Okay, I'm trying to catch up on comments.
Okay. I back here, Elaine had said there was a pattern. She said she said she thinks we both would get our mojo back with the mosaic socks by Christine Perry.
Okay. I love mosaic socks. I've only knit one pair of mosaic socks so far. Actually just washed them on the weekend, and they're one of my favorite pairs. And they were by Lisa Davis. They were like those little Greek keys. Yep. Love them.
Yep.
Okay, the mosaic socks.
Kelly, Julia says, give yourself some slack. You work full time. You had your family in January and it's only February.
I know, but it's really not like me to take a day like that. But you know what? I'm not going to lie. It felt good. It just felt good. At the end of the day, like by dinner time, I was starting, like the guilt was rolling in. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, like you only have 2 days off. You've literally sit and knit one away. That's not very productive.
I remember when I worked full time, and it was by the time you got to, like, you're trying to pack so much into Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
Because those are the days that you've got, and it's, yeah. And it goes by so fast.
It does. Already, like right around 3:00 on Sunday, I start thinking, oh, work is coming tomorrow. I didn't get finished everything I wanted to finish, but
Kimmy says she has a friend
that used to knit while driving.
Knitting group that she knits while driving in New York City.
Oh, just at stoplight.
She says
just at stoplight.
And she's in her 70s.
I used to read and drive. Okay, that's really bad. Only on the highway. Yes. Just a straight highway. I know. I don't do that anymore.
Thank goodness for audiobooks now.
I know. Well, now I read every time I drive, but I listen to the books. So, okay, easy mosaic socks. Okay, not just mosaic socks. I had to add the word easy.
So one of the things that I wanted to talk about, we were talking last week about the number of stitches to pick up when you're doing a button band.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And in particular, we were talking about this, which I still haven't done anything else on because I've been knitting other things. But I had figured out that my gauge to pick up, or the rate to pick up, was 15 stitches and then skip one.
Yes.
So if you look at normal stocking stitch, that would be way too many stitches.
Yes.
Right. So I found an article. Actually, I found an article that was published in Interweave. It's on the internet, so I will link it underneath this once the video's kind of been up there. But when you're doing color work, the shape of your stitches change. So when you're doing color work, okay, so regular stockinette stitches tend to be wide this way.
Yes.
And not so long, which is why when you're looking at your gauge, you've got less stitches than you do rows.
Right.
Right? Because typical is about like let's say you're looking at a worsted weight, it's like 18 stitches and 24 rows.
Yeah, and the stitches are definitely wider than they are tall.
Yes, but that changes when you do all over stranded color work. When you do all over stranded color work, your stitch elongates. So what happens is your stitch gauge and your row gauge get closer together, almost to the point where they might be the same.
Okay.
So that's why when you're doing something like this, you are going to end up picking up more stitches along here for a button band, because this row gauge is a lot different than it would be if this was just normal stocking stitch.
Right. Makes perfect sense now that you say it, but in your mind, when I was listening to you say that you're picking up, that sounded like a lot of pickup stitches, but now that you explain it that way.
Well, and it did to me too. But when I looked at it, I mean, Marie Wallen, that's what it was in her pattern as well, right?
And who are we to question Marie Wallen? She knows what she's talking about.
So I thought, and no one had made a comment on the pattern that it was too many stitches to pick up for the band. So I went, and it's really good when you find an article that kind of explains things in more detail as to why it is.
Yes.
And so when you look at it, because if you look at, when you do a graph for color work, the graph is not square.
Nope, it's not. It's not.
That's right. But the more stranded, the more close you get to that square design. So, and it was even saying that, how some people have to go up a needle size when they're doing color work.
Right.
I can pretty much stay the same and it doesn't change that much. But this article said, even if you don't find that you have to go up a needle size, it's still very unlikely that your row gauge is not going to change because you're doing color work. That those stitches
so
are
interesting.
Still not going to elongate.
See, now I just want to go measure some color work that I've done just to prove that.
Well, and it might be different when you're doing something and you're picking up and it's just a cardigan or something that's got color work around the yoke. That's going to be a lot different because you've got all stockinette down here.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're doing something like this and the thing is all over color work, then your row gauge is going to be significantly closer to your stitch gauge.
And that's going to be a beautiful sweater, by the way, too.
So if I ever get to it, but if I stop casting on other things.
Are the sleeves all over color work as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
And they're also picked up along all over color work, right? So, but it feels better having found that information to know that I'm doing the right thing when I go through and pick those stitches up. Yeah.
Of course.
So, okay. So one more thing, I did start another sweater this week too. So I am doing a sample for Little Red Mitten. And I'll just pop up a picture. A lot of you, this is a very familiar pattern. So probably a lot of you have seen this pattern. Where is it here? There we go. It's the Cozy Classic Raglan by Jessie Maid Designs. So basically this is a DK weight. So you can do it in plain DK, or I think in the pattern, one of the recommendations is a strand of fingering held with a strand of mohair. So for Little Red Mitten, I'm doing it in a strand of fingering held with a strand of mohair. And this yarn is their superfine merino. So this is a non-superwash merino.
That looks like a dream
weight.
too when it's knit together.
It feels like amazing.
Like a cloud.
It's just, yeah. And then this is I've got 4 balls over here because I'm helix knitting it. So there's the mohair. The mohair is, I think it's a 75-25. So 75% mohair, 25% silk. This color is called Meredith. They call all of their grays by a Grey's Anatomy name. So this is Meredith. And this pattern, it's just a basic, simple pattern, but the attention to detail is amazing. Like, first of all, I want to show you there's the top. So it's a tubular cast on. It's a little bit different. It's done a little bit differently than any that I've seen. So I can't really go into it because I haven't found it anywhere else that states it exactly like that. That's on a free resource, but it is a one that you do with waste yarn. So you actually cast on with waste yarn and then you go into it and then you have to pick out the cast on. But that edge is just, it's just so neat the way it's done. Like, I will never do a tubular cast on any differently than that now. And then the way that she's got the detail down the raglan seams. Can you see that?
Yes, I love it.
My hand in the.
No, it's perfect. I can see it.
Okay. Yep. Okay. So it's just the way she does it. And I mean, I can tell you this, she does it with lifted increases.
Okay.
And I've only come across the lifted increases, I would say, in the last year or so. And I really like them. But I had just gotten to the point with doing the increases, using the make one left and make one right, that I knew which way it was without having to look it up every time.
Yes.
Right. So now I have to learn the lifted left and the lifted right. No, I got to do it every time without looking it up. But I've already figured it out. If it's a lifted left, you do it after the stitch.
Yes.
If it's a lifted right, you do it before the stitch.
For the stitch. So yes. There are lifted stitches on that ranunculus too. Mm-hmm. I have a little thing when you were talking about the make one left and make one right. You know how I remember it? This is just my little trick that I have to remember left to the right. So I always we always have that phrase, I'll be right back, right back. So if it's a lifted, or sorry, if it's a make one right, you go from the back of the stitch right back. And then if it's a left, you go from the front of the stitch. And that's how I always remember it. So when I'm knitting along, and then it says make one right, I go right back. And then I always go to the back of the stitch and pull it. And that's my little trick for remembering, because it took me years. I used to have to keep a key down below and I would still have to look at it. And I thought there's got to be a way to remember it. So that's my way, right back.
Yeah. Well, and I think someone else had said with doing that one, because right starts with R and it's rear, you're going in through the rear.
That's a good way too. Right. Yeah. So, yeah. Julia is saying lifted left, use the left needle, lifted right, use the right needle.
There you go.
So there, yeah. That's a nice way too. Great tip,
but
Julia.
I really do like that lifted left and lifted right. So
yes, I like
and Susan says right is the rear. But it's like all these techniques, like when we were knitting 30 years ago, those didn't exist. Like basically if you increased, it was knit into the front and back of the stitch.
I know. And it's not the tidiest increase.
No.
I know.
Well, and it's not mirrored either.
No, I like the left leaning and right leaning. And remember when we took Patty Lyon's class, she said there's no right or wrong way to how you do that. You just have to be consistent. So yes. She had us do a sample both ways where we had the stitch going down the middle and then we had the stitches leaning into the stitch. And then she had us do a sample where we had the stitches leaning away from the stitch. And then she said, now it's up to you as a knitter to look and decide which one that you like better. And I think I liked the ones that were leaning into the stitch. I think you did too, right?
Yeah.
Is that how we liked it best?
Well, okay. So to do that, does that mean you did a left? Like, I can't remember. Like okay, so if it's leaning into the stitch, then do
you do, okay,
then
so
you
if
be
you're
a
going
left and then a
across,
right?
that means it leans to the left. So if your stitch
Okay.
is in the middle and you're knitting from right to left, right? As you
Right.
knit across. So your first one would be the left because you want it to lean left. And then you do your center stitch. Then and this is probably looking completely wrong to you on screen. I realize that.
Right.
Then you lean right when you pass the center stitch.
Okay.
So,
and this one is, it's the lifted left you do first, and then the lifted right you do after. Is that right?
I think so.
But that's not left. No, yeah, it is left.
I like this one from Iwa. Here's a good one. She left him in front of the altar, but she'll be right back. So you see the right back comes into play. Yes. That's a great one too, Iwa. A little lengthy every row, but that's good. It's perfect. It's funny all the little, just the little
tips and tricks
things that we have.
I know. And you know what was a game changer for me was when I could do the Kitchener stitch without having to look anything up.
Yes.
And especially now, because I use that doing the tubular bind up all the time, right?
Right.
So because, and then one time, it was a couple of years ago, I did a scarf for Rachel, and it had to be grafted together. It was Kitchener together, but it was garter stitch. Well, let me tell you, when Kitchener stitch is ingrained in your mind for stocking stitch and you do a garter stitch, it is
tricky.
You fight with yourself to do it correctly.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
yeah. No, it's just funny. The things that we come up with, right? And the little, I don't know.
Yeah.
Tricks we play in our knitter minds.
Yep. And I mean, and it's nice to know too, like when you remember when you're doing something, just because a set of increases is a particular way doesn't mean that's the way you have to do them. If you've got a preferred method, you can use the method that you like.
Oh yeah, you've got to come up with what works for you. Yeah. Because what will trigger my memory for something won't trigger yours, right? We all think differently.
Yep.
Approach something differently.
Oh, that said that her mom had a rhyme for the Kitchener, and she's so disappointed in herself for not learning it before she passed. See, tricks where come from, so the Kitchener stitch obviously was something that they were doing way back.
Yeah. But I wonder if they were even calling it the Kitchener though.
I don't know.
Because I'm self-taught for knitting, and I had no idea how to graft a toe. I don't know what I did. That wasn't in my book. The book that I taught myself to knit in didn't have a grafting technique for the toe of a sock. So I ended up with those kind of pointy-toed socks that didn't really fit properly.
Did you go to the end and then pull the...
Oh, I have no idea what I did. That was so long ago, but quite proud of myself when I got onto the Kitchener stitch, but I'm not going to lie. I don't remember the last time I Kitchenered a sock closed. I use that Finchley graft.
I use the Finchley graft all the time too, but I have recently done sweaters where you're going up and then joining, and then you've got the stitches to Kitchener under the arms.
Yes.
So I've had that recently.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I did do some spinning this week.
Okay, let's see what you spun.
Okay,
have you figured out a way to spin?
I showed you already.
Have you figured out a way to spin into gold? Oh, you did. Look, it's gold.
Yeah, gold. Look at the colors in this. It's like,
I know. I did look at the colors and I love it. I love it.
So I got that one finished. So this is a Cheviot. So this worked out to about a sport weight. And so now I decided I really want to try a traditional 3-ply, but I want it to end up fingering weight. So I have to spin really thin. Mm-hmm. So I have some Devonia from John Arbin. This is just a piece of it, but look at the colors in that.
Gorgeous.
Like this is more like it's a blended yarn. So it's got like all different colors in there. So I had 102 grams. So I split it into 3 sections, and I'm spinning each of them. So I've got the first one. The first one's already spun. The second one's on so there's and I've got it pretty fine, but it's sometimes just hard to tell because you don't know how much it's kind of going to plump up when you apply it. So we'll see what it turns out like, but I'm having fun spinning it, and it's a blend of Exmoor Blueface, blue-faced Leicester, and then it said some long hair breeds, which I did some research in, were Wensleydale and Romney. So they've got a fairly long staple length, which means it's a little easier to pull it out fine and keep it fairly thin. So I'm hoping that that's gonna work. So maybe I'll have it done by next week and I can show you if it worked or not.
Okay. A couple of people have been asking what the grafting method was instead of the Kitchener. So it's called the Finchley graft. And if you are so inclined, I did do a tutorial for this one. So if you on YouTube under the Tangled Stitch, I have a channel that has some tutorials in there. And there is one on how to do the Finchley. And it's my preferred sock graft for sure. The beauty for me of the Finchley, and I don't think I have a sock down here anymore, is that when I Kitchener, I always manage to somehow, just especially on one side, you kind of get that little bit of a, some people call them rabbit ears.
Yeah.
So with the Finchley, it's a much smoother finish and you don't get that. So Noelle taught it to me. And then I thought, well, I'm going to get this up on YouTube for everybody else. So it's, and it's quick too. It's quite quick.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So. And you don't have to think about like, you know, knit off, purl on, purl off, knit on, like you just
know. So it's so easy, so easy.
And that was the method I taught Rachel for doing her socks, and she picked it up like right away.
Yeah. So. Oh, here's a little bit of a history lesson for us. Alina says the Kitchener stitch was renamed during World War II because of a strong suggestion from a Sir Kitchener. He wanted a soldier sock to have a seamless finish to reduce the amount of friction in the soldier boots. Well,
there you go.
There you go. That's fantastic. Thank you, Alina.
Yep.
Look at what we learned tonight.
That's right. Bonnie wanted to know if I use a spinning gauge. No, I don't have one. I don't know. I know I probably should get one and I might, but I just like spinning right now and just not have too much pressure to be, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it works out. I might get one in the end. I know you're supposed to pull it back, but I do every so often pull it back and just take a look at it to kind of make sure that I'm at least staying a little bit consistent, but we'll see. We'll see what happens with it.
Oh, thanks, Gwen. She says that my tutorial is very good. Well, thank you. Thank you. Somebody was talking to about casting on for toe-up socks and their favorite method. My favorite method, I think it's called the Russian cast on. It's the one where you hold two needles like this. And I use two 16-inch circulars.
Oh, okay.
You just take the yarn and you wrap around. Is this even showing? There we go. You just wrap around the needles like this, and then you'll pull one through, you knit one row, flip it the other way, and then knit off the back stitches. For me, that's my easiest toe-up cast on. I was thinking of doing a tutorial for that one too, because sometimes I forget it a little bit and I have to go back.
Is it Russian or is it the Turkish cast on?
I thought that was Russian, wasn't it? Where you hold it.
Well, I think I do.
Well, before I attempt a tutorial, I should get the name.
It's called. But they could just be two names for the same thing too.
I just know you hold two together and you wrap around like that, right? And then you knit. It's super easy, super easy.
Yeah.
So.
And that is what I do, but I thought it was called the Turkish cast on. But
okay, maybe it is.
But I don't know. But I mean, there's things that are.
It is. Elizabeth is telling me it's the Turkish. Well, okay. Don't listen to a thing I have to say. Anyway, it's a great cast on.
That is the one that I use when I do toe up. And it is, and it's easy.
It is easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that one.
And toe up's a good way to do your socks if you want to use all of your yarn.
Okay. Okay, Cynthia is asking us to put a link in for the sock toe closure in the description. I think I can do that. Can I do that? I can link. Yeah, I can.
Yeah, you should be able to.
I think I can. I'll try.
Yeah.
But if I might have put something in here under comments too, did I? Or
but nope, I think we can put a link under the video.
Okay, I can do that. I think we have to put a comment, right? And then put it in there, or can I just no, we can go in and just link it directly.
I think you can go under the video. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I'll see what I can do after. All right. Yeah. So I think you already mentioned we're going to try to, well, we're not going to try.
We're going to.
That's defeatist conversation right there. That allows yourself room to fail. So we are going to podcast. Canada has a long weekend coming up this weekend. It's called Family Day. And so we'll get a 3-day weekend. So that gives me freedom to have a day off and not feel guilty about it. So Noelle and I are going to record a podcast this weekend. So then that should be up for you for next week.
Yeah, because we have some make-alongs finishing up that we have to do prizes for. And
we do. And that's where the prizes get announced. And maybe you should talk about the make-alongs that we have going now.
Okay, so right at the moment we have, the make-along that we'll be giving away prizes for is our warm winter woolies, and that one ended on January 31st. But we also have a couple going on. One's going on all year, and that is our sock knit-along. There we go. So that's our KNP 2022 socks. If you post on Instagram, there are threads in the Ravelry group. There's a chatter thread if you want to talk about what you're making or what socks you want to make. And then there's a finished object thread for the socks for 2022. So you can enter as many pairs of socks as you finish in 2022. You don't have to have started them in 2022. They can be started previously. But when you're finished, put them in there. At the end of every month, we draw 2 prizes. We draw a pattern prize, which is generously donated to us from Natalie, who is Remembrance's Pottery, who does amazingly beautiful colorwork patterns. Mm-hmm. And then we also have a yarn prize. And then at the end of the year, we kind of have a little bit bigger prize. Okay. And the more times your socks are in there, because when we draw from the first socks that were entered at the beginning of the year right up to the end of the current month that we're drawing for. So the more socks you get in there, the more chances that you have to win a prize. And then the other make-along that we've got going for right now started February 1st until March 31st is our Smash That Stash.
And it has to be said in exactly that way.
Smash That
Stash.
So that's our Knits and Pieces Smash That Stash. And what we want you to do with this is to use yarn that's been in your stash since the end of 2021. So any yarn that you bought in 2022, you can't use, but yarn that you bought previous to that, you can use. So for me, I started this after February 1st. So my ranunculus, why do I keep calling this a ranunculus?
Because you want to knit another
muscle burra. I know, because I want to knit another ranunculus. So my muscle burra could be in that. So you just need to use at least 50 grams of yarn. And there is also a chatter thread and a finished object thread in Ravelry for that. So we all have beautiful yarn in our stashes. Most of us have a lot of beautiful yarn in our stashes. And I know there's always new yarns coming out. There's always the shiny and the pretty, and I want to start something new.
I know.
But you really do. A lot of that yarn that you bought it with the same intent that you're buying the yarn that you're buying now. Yes. And it will give you a lot of pleasure to get it out and knit it.
It will.
So,
and it's just, if something's been in, if something has been in deep stash, like for a long, long time, trust me, when you get it out, it's just like you got it brand new all over again.
I know.
I have things in my stash that I forget, and my stash is like up to date in Ravelry, but I still have things in there that I forget, and I'll be looking for something else, and I'll go in there and I'll pull this out, and I'm like, I don't even remember buying that. Oh my gosh, that's pretty. Oh, I want to do something with that now. So there you go. Yes, Gwen, you can use yarn that has been given to you, as long as it was given to you before December 31st of 2021. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. It's going to be so much fun.
Oh, Sarah says she's knit 2 hats, which used yarn from 4 different skeins. So she's smashing some stash.
She is smashing that stash. I know. Well, my ranunculus is stash.
This one.
My next sweater will be stash. It was bought late 2021.
This one is stash. My peacock one is stash. So that was stuff that I had already.
This is deep. Or no, this one's not deep stash. This is definitely stash, though. But I was going to say it's not deep stash.
This was stash.
Yes.
My yell is stash. So the one I'm doing for Little Red Mitten, obviously, is new. And the Barocco is new because I didn't have any of that to do. But yeah, I mean, I do but there's still, it just, you know what? You got to stay off Instagram because you see all these new yarns. Or, and then if you watch knitting podcasts, they show all this new yarn and all these new patterns.
And new patterns suck me in. So we both got sucked into the Sari Nordland. She was having a Valentine's Day sale. So I bought Billy, and you bought Foxberry.
Her patterns I really like her patterns, and I really want to. And so the Foxberry is like a fingering held with a mohair, and I'm thinking, oh, like, wouldn't it look great in like something like this?
Yeah,
hold it the right thing. This is so soft. I just can't. I mean, I like my rustic yarns, but there's room for everything. There's room for rustic and soft, and but I really do have to get some sweaters. I have to get some sweaters finished before I cast on a new one.
Well, the last sweater that I'm going to cast on is the Waves of Change cardigan by Denise Byron, and I'm using Barrett Woolco
Wisconsin woolen spun.
It's yes, Wisconsin woolen spun, but it's the marl. Hang on one second. I'm unplugging here.
Okay. While Kelly's looking for her yarn, I'll just show you. We were talking last week about Valentine's Day, and I said that I was going to make my husband some shepherd's pie. So he got a shepherd's pie. So because it was his Valentine's Day shepherd pie, I just put a little heart on the top with some smoked paprika. So anyways, he enjoyed it. And Julia, your recipe sounded amazing, but I ran it past him and it was a no. We had to have meat. Because Julia's recipe, I think, was mushrooms and a vegetarian one, which I think sounded amazing.
Right. I thought it sounded good too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is actually called the Folkestone Twist, and this is her color number 3. Look at that.
Yeah, that'll be nice. That jacket will knit up fast, Kelly.
I know it will.
And you could wear it in the spring, like as a jacket.
Yeah, definitely. And this is really like, even though this is a bulky weight yarn, it's a light bulky. So it's not something I think that's going to make me feel like super over hot, because it's still pretty light. But yeah, it's really, really pretty. So I'm going to cast that on too. And then I'll have 3 on the needles. Like, I'm into the body on my fern and feather. I already split for the sleeves, and I'm probably that far into the body.
Yep.
So like, I'm making good progress on it, but I definitely got a little bit carried away. So yeah, Sue says the Wave of Change cardi will be amazing. Yeah. So
yep,
I'm a huge Susan B. Anderson fan. I think she's an absolute sweetheart. We would be friends if she lived next door. I just know it. So and she has a kind of a wide, varied range of crafting and just different things that she likes to do. And so she has several that she's knit in this, and I have lusted after them for a number of years. Excuse me. So I finally jumped in and bought the yarn. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to try and finish a few things before I start anything new. Since a couple of the things like the sample knit and the birthday knit are kind of on a deadline, I sort of have to get those done. So I will do that.
It's never my intention to keep buying yarn. I really do want to use the stash I have. I do, because
it's beautiful.
Well, my son and daughter don't knit yet, so I'll have nobody to leave the stash to in the will.
Well, my daughter and daughter-in-law do knit, so
exactly. So I have to make use of mine, or adopt a knitter to bequeath something to in a will at some point. But it's, I don't know, like, everybody buys something. I don't care. You do. And wool is something I just like to buy. And when it comes in the mail and it's so pretty, how can you not love it?
Well, I honestly, like, I would say through this pandemic, yarn is probably one of the few things that I really have still bought. Like, I can't remember the last time I bought new clothes.
No, exactly.
So other than a dress for my son's wedding.
Yeah.
Like, I So, because we're not really going anywhere. And I would say a lot of my clothes, especially in the winter, a lot of my sweaters and things that I wear every day are sweaters that I knit. So, at least they're getting used. It's not, I mean, I know I still have a lot of yarn stash that I could knit a lot more sweaters, but yeah, I don't spend a huge amount of money really on, well, I do buy 5 or 2.
Yes.
But they're sort of the same thing. But I don't buy jewelry.
No. I did buy this. I bought this piece of jewelry. I don't buy jewelry very often either, but I did buy this. This I was a little nervous about because it was an Instagram purchase, but it turns out I love it. It's from Agape Studios, and it has the Tree of Life on here, and it's made in France, supposedly. I don't know, but yeah, I love it. It's really pretty, and you can adjust the chain so I can wear it different lengths. Kimmy and Janie and Iwa all say they're up for adoption if I need somebody to leave stash to adopt.
Sarah reminded me that I buy wine. Thanks, Sarah.
Well, yes, and I can just recently again drink wine, so that's great. So that's a stash I'll help her get rid of. I don't mind.
Yeah. I got lots of finished objects out in the garage.
And Elizabeth said, if the worst thing that she could do is buy too much yarn, then so be it. That's right. Exactly. You know what? There are many more worse things in life you could do, Elizabeth. So,
yeah.
Pearl Monster, sorry, don't know your first name. Want to join Smash That Stash because my stash is a bit big and her kids don't knit yet either. But she's got so many whips on needles. Well, there's always time to join. It's running for 2 months. So it's February and March. So and
who knows? Maybe we'll take a break and do it again then later in the year too.
Well, Janie was saying she wished it was going all year. Yeah, you never know.
Well, we'll think about it. We'll think about it. So
we've got prizes. We could go. We could let it run longer.
We have enough prizes in our stash to give away.
We have pretty things to give away. I love this. I'm not a brown lover, but how pretty is that?
I do like that. I bought that so rusty one. I really like that rusty one. I wouldn't mind like a cardigan in that color.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, well, my dear, we are at an hour 12 and I have knit my compulsory inch for the night.
I don't even think I got a row done.
Actually, I might have got more than an inch done tonight. So some year this hat might be done. Yeah, so I got this much.
You will really like it when it's done. Like you can't get
I know I'm gonna like it. I know.
You can't get the true feel of it until you got it done and you push it up in there. But
I can push things up in there now. Like I've got quite a bit done. I'm gonna love it. And with this,
I couldn't show
the way it's striping, I'll be able to go different ways to kind of get different looks on it too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
But anyway.
I know I couldn't let Molly try hers on. They were over yesterday for a few minutes. And anytime I make something for her and I let it try it on, but I want to keep it till the podcast, she has to fit when I take it back. So I thought I just won't show it to her until she can have it for keeps.
Oh, and Pearl Monster is Catherine. Okay. Good to know.
Okay. We'll have to write that down.
Okay. So yeah, podcast coming next week. We'll be here next Tuesday. And again, big thank you. I'm glad I came to the Knit Cafe tonight.
I'm glad you came too, because
Noelle and my husband were right. I feel better.
But I didn't try to force you. I said I would have done it.
No, I know, but you're like, come on, I think you can do it. And Mike's in the background going,
Well, that was only after Mike encouraged you first.
Yes. So I just want to say thank you, and definitely feeling the love in here tonight. And it has been good to kind of share that and know that there are people that care back. So yeah, we are definitely going to miss our little Miss Molly. We called her the Puss. And I guess I can no longer call them the girls because we still have another cat. We have Roxy, but now we just have the girl. So it doesn't quite have the same effect. But anyway, yeah. So thank you all for that, for helping cheer me up. And
thanks everybody for joining us.
Week.
Yeah, so we will see you next week, and there might even be a podcast out before that.
There might be. I'm pretty quick now with my new iPad and keyboard. I'm much quicker. So.
I know I have to like work fast on those notes before you get the podcast done.
Yes, and I'm going to make a note to go in and add that tutorial. Okay.
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 Okay. So bye,
Take care, everybody.
Thanks for joining us, and we will see you next week. So happy knitting.
We will. Thanks.